Hey folks, I know I'm just a random guy telling you stories. Please leave a like and subscribe before we start. I know this might sound fake, but I need to get this story out. I'm not even sure if anyone will believe me, but maybe sharing it will make it stop, if it even can. It started like any other Friday night. My friends and I, Mia, Jess, Riley, and me, were always fascinated by creepy mysteries and anything weird or old. If there was a haunted place nearby or a rumor about an ancient artifact, we'd be the first to check it out. We were just curious, but this time that curiosity backfired. Some kids at school were talking about the dark web, and naturally that caught our attention. We'd heard stories of people finding all sorts of strange, sometimes dangerous things there. So, the four of us decided to explore it ourselves, just to see what it was all about. We weren't planning to actually buy anything, but we couldn't resist when we saw it. It was listed as an ancient artifact called the Dead Man's Hand. The description claimed it was a centuries-old, preserved human hand and that it allowed you to see and communicate with the dead. A note said it could be activated if you sat within a triangle drawn on the floor, placed 3 candles at each point, and held the hand while saying, "Talk to me." It sounded ridiculous. We laughed about it, even joked about trying it out just to see if anything would happen. So, on impulse, we bought it. None of us thought it would actually arrive, but 2 weeks later the package showed up at Riley's door. Inside was the hand, wrapped in layers of cloth and plastic, along with a handwritten note. The hand looked real. Its skin was leathery and gray, the fingernails thick and cracked, and when you touched it, it felt cold and rough, like it had been frozen for centuries. Jess joked about it still being alive, which I laughed off, but something about it felt wrong. When I held it, I swear I could feel a faint pulse. But that was impossible, right? We decided to test it out. We gathered in Riley's room late at night, turned off the lights, and followed the instructions exactly. Riley was the bravest of us, so she volunteered to go first. She drew the triangle on the floor, placed the candles at each corner, and sat cross-legged in the center with the hand. She held it tightly, closed her eyes, and whispered, "Talk to me." For a moment, nothing happened. We all started laughing, thinking it was just another silly internet hoax. But then, Riley's face changed. Her eyes snapped open, wide and unblinking, and a horrifying smile spread across her face. She didn't look like herself. Her voice came out low, guttural, as she muttered something none of us could understand. Then she started laughing, a deep, awful sound that echoed in the room, sending chills down my spine. "Riley?" I whispered, but she didn't respond. She was just staring at us, her eyes dark and empty, the creepy smile still plastered on her face. Then, before we could react, she reached up and, in one violent motion, twisted her neck until it cracked. Her body slumped forward, lifeless, as the candles flickered out. We screamed, scrambling out of the room, and stumbled into the street in shock. We didn't know what to do. By the time help arrived, we had no explanation for what happened, and nobody would believe the truth anyway. They ruled it as a tragic accident, saying she must have had some kind of seizure or mental break. But we knew what we saw. And that was only the beginning. After Riley's death, strange things started happening to us. At first, it was just little things, whispers in the night, shadows moving in the corners of our eyes. But then it got worse. I started having dreams about Riley's face, her twisted smile and empty eyes staring at me from the darkness. In the dreams, she'd whisper, "Talk to me," over and over until I woke up, drenched in sweat. Jess and Mia told me they were having the same nightmares. We decided we had to get rid of the hand. We buried it deep in the woods, far away from any trails. But that night, when I came home, it was sitting on my bed, its fingers splayed as if reaching for me. Now we're terrified. Every time I close my eyes, I see her face, her twisted smile, her empty, unblinking eyes. And I hear that voice, low and guttural, whispering, "Talk to me." If you're reading this, please, never go looking for the dead man's hand. It's already taken one of us, and I'm afraid it won't stop until it's taken us all.